The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to another episode of Speaking with the Senator. Hi, I'm Kevin Avard, State Senator here in District 12 in New Hampshire. And today we're going to be talking about the death penalty. And my guest is Sabrina Butler Porter from Mississippi, who was on death row. And she's actually an exoneree. And I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And thanks for listening to my singing.
Oh, awesome.
So, when people think of death row, most people don't generally think of women being on death row. But somehow you ended up on death row. How did that happen?
Well, when I was 17 years old, I was accused of a crime I didn't commit. My son stopped breathing on me, and I didn't know how to apply CPR. And I was accused of beating him to death. And that was a hard thing for me because, I had lost my son, and then being accused of killing him was very difficult. I went to the police station after it happened, and they started questioning me, and they wanted more answers, and they didn't want to hear the ones I was giving them. They were throwing away the original statements that I were giving them, and he wrote out a statement for me to sign. Mm-hmm. And after 4 hours...
Did you read the statement that he made?
No, after 4 hours of them fussing at me and seeming like they wanted to jump on me and all that, I signed it. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. At 17, I didn't think. I just knew that these people were looking like they wanted to hurt me. So I signed it, and when I signed it, I was charged with capital murder.
With a capital murder. Had you had any convictions or any problems prior with the law?
No.
At all. And you were were you married at the time, or?
Yes.
You were. And how did that? What did your husband say?
Well, we were separated.
Okay.
Then I had gotten pregnant with my first child at a very early age, and my mom signed me over to my first husband, and we didn't stay together for more than a year.
Okay.
So I had been in Columbus by myself since I was 14 years old.
Columbus, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Mississippi.
Columbus, Mississippi.
And so, describe briefly what happened.
I was just, you talking about when I was at the police station?
No, prior to that. I mean, what happened to your son?
I don't know what happened. I mean, what I did was I went jogging that night. Mm-hmm. And most time, I think that's where I made my mistake. Because I left him at the house, sleep. Yep. And I jogged up the street and came back. And that's when I noticed that he wasn't breathing, and I panicked. I didn't know what I should do or what I shouldn't do. I just grabbed him and ran. And I think, back on that, a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't have left him at the house. But, I was only 17. I wasn't thinking like I should have been thinking.
But you grabbed him and ran.
Grabbed him and ran. And when I ran, a lady downstairs in the apartments below me, she called me by name. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know she knew me, but evidently she did. She grabbed my son and she put him on the floor and started CPR. And so she told me to blow in his mouth, hold his nose, and press in his stomach. That wasn't the right way. I applied adult CPR to a 9-month-old all the way to the hospital. I didn't know.
So how did they go from that to capital murder? Capital murder, you had to have intended to do it?
No, they said I beat him because, his stomach was extended after we did CPR. I think I applied the wrong amount of pressure.
The lady that was helping you, what happened to her?
Nothing. She was a white female. I'm black, so they kind of pushed her to the side. After she gave her statement and everything, there was nothing else said to her.
So you think it was definitely racist?
They were just looking at me, yeah.
Okay, so you're in a panic, you're grieving, and you signed your life away. And all within 24 hours. What happened after that? You went to trial.
They sent me to the county jail. I stayed in the old jail period for a year. It took a year. I saw my first set of attorneys 2 days before trial. Didn't know who my attorneys were. I was told to just sit in front of the jury, look at the jury. I was given no type of preparation for trial or anything like that. One of the attorneys I had was drunk during the whole trial.
So you're sitting in prison or in county jail for a year, no communication with any defense lawyer, nothing. Not really sure what you're being charged with, or did they charge you?
They charged me. They charged me, but they also charged me with a child abuse law that wasn't a law until 23 days after I was locked up. So I was already locked up, and they gave me a charge that wasn't even a law yet.
Did you have any family to support you?
My mom, when she found out, they came down. My mom started trying to talk for me, and do things like that. But she really didn't know what to do because we were never faced with, something of that magnitude. So it was basically just we was poor, black, and in the wrong place is where I see it because I think my case was mostly merely racially motivated, and it was just something for this district attorney at the time to do because he was 25 years old. He was overzealous, and he just did whatever he could do to get a prosecution of sentence.
So did they actually
conviction.
have you sign a confession?
Yeah. And the way I signed it, I knew it was wrong. I put my signature on the outside of the paper, and that was brought up in court. Like, if she knew what she was signing, why did she put her initials way over here? And you accepted that as her, statement.
As a full signature? So you didn't sign right on the dotted line? Wow, they wanted your head.
They just wanted a conviction.
How long did the trial last?
My trial lasted a week. It took 2 hours for them to come back and give a guilty verdict.
And you had a jury?
I had a jury. Not of my peers, but I had a jury. 2 blacks on the jury. One was an alternate.
So they tell you the sentence.
Yeah, they sentenced me to die by lethal injection March the 13th of 1990, and my death date was July the 2nd of 1990.
How long were you on death row?
2 years, 9 months.
So you were in prison for a year. Trial's 2 weeks. And how you were on death row for 2 years? So this
2 years, 9 months. When they overturned my sentence in '92, they sent me back down, and I'm thinking that
how did they come to overturning your sentence?
They overturned it because the district attorney took the jury to a picnic while they were supposed to be sequestered, and he kept alluding to the fact that I wouldn't testify in my own defense. He made jokes and things concerning that, and you can't do that. But he didn't do it because of me. He did it, I guess, just to do it. My attorneys wouldn't let me take the stand in my own defense. I tried, but they wouldn't let me take the stand.
So who said, hey, you know what? The district attorney screwed up here. Who went to bat for you there?
The first attorney that I had felt really bad because he really didn't do the investigative work. I had 2 attorneys. One was drunk, but the main attorney decided to write a brief for it to go to the higher courts. And when he did, I ended up with 2 sets of new attorneys who took his brief and they went to argue, which is one of the attorneys' name was Clive Stafford Smith, who was he started an organization called Reprieve, and he's from England, but he does a lot of work in the States at the time. And he saw my case and took it. He didn't pay charge. He didn't charge me anything. Just took the case because they knew it was wrong.
So your trial got overturned. Is that when you were exonerated?
No, when my trial was overturned in '92, I thought that I was supposed to go back to court and the trial be over, but it didn't happen like that. The district attorney made me sit in the county jail another 3 years before I even went back to trial for the second trial. When I went back,
Did you ask for a speedy trial?
well, my lawyers did, yeah, but he kept making excuses, and they kept granting him, more time, and it took 3 years. And so then once we did make it back to court, all the time in my son's records, he had heart problems, kidney problems, and chronic bowel syndrome. It was always there. The autopsy report that was done, it was halfway done because Mississippi didn't have enough money to do a proper autopsy report, so they just kind of throwed something together. And all this was found out in the second trial. Some of the police officers, and they changed their testimony. A lot of them. And so it took hours for deliberation. I was found not guilty December 18th of 1995, exonerated 6.5 years later. It was 6.5 years.
2 years
Yes,
on
sir.
death row.
2 years, 9 months on death row, and altogether 6.5 years.
You get a nice apology.
No, got upset. They were very angry because they wanted him to win the case. It was 4 cases out of that county alone that got exonerated.
Tell me about living as knowing that you're going to die by lethal injection. What was the living situation like?
Stayed in a 6x9 cell, no human contact. Nobody to really tell me that. The state had to exhaust all state remedies before they could actually carry out a death sentence. So I usually, when I tell people my story, that's the hardest part for me because I paced those floors waiting, thinking that, that was the day I actually was going to die.
So every day was, you thought you could be imminently, now you couldn't, were you on a block? Were there rooms next to you?
Yeah, it was a room next to me. But see, when I got the death penalty, and there's another girl on death row, at the prison that I was at, they didn't really have nowhere to house us. So they housed us in the maximum security unit, and they took this red piece of tape that they would put at the end of the hall, letting you know you couldn't go beyond this point, because that's where we were. There was only 2 of us on death row at the time, and the only way I could talk to her was to get down on the floor and talk between the toilets. And that was the conversation that I had, with her for those years.
Did you have TV or anything?
We could get a TV later on in it. Yeah, later on I did.
Were you given reading material?
Yeah, they let us go to the law library. We had to be chained and shackled to go to the law library and look up cases and stuff like that. The prison, they don't do any of that now, but they did it back then. They didn't have nowhere to house us.
Were you able to be given a Bible or anything like that? Anything to or
I
novels?
could send
any kind
out
of
for
books?
material, reading materials and stuff like that.
Yeah. Tell me about your conversations.
I mean, basically it was her, talking to me, trying to tell me her experience of being, because she had been on death for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of knew, what to expect or what was going on. And she just basically just helped me grow up.
Mm-hmm.
I was 19 when I got there.
How old was she?
She was almost 30.
May I ask what happened with her?
She was accused of killing a police officer.
Did they execute
She got
her?
out. No, she got out death row, but they gave her 45 years to life.
Does Mississippi still utilize the death penalty?
Yes, they do.
It's still on the books.
It's still on the books, and actually, and added more to it. I think they're trying to bring back the firing squad and the electric chair. We have lethal injection, but they're trying to add those 2.
I don't understand the electric chair. That just doesn't make sense to me. That does not make sense. Believe it or not, because we've talked many times to people on death row, The Green Mile. You ever see the movie?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have. Sad.
That was very sad, and but just thinking you can do a better job. That if you wanted to execute somebody, that's just a horrible way to go. The whole idea is just to put somebody out of their existence, not make them miserable on their way. Bottom line. So you're exonerated. Well, you communicated with this lady through a toilet. I mean, on the floor. You had to talk under the wall.
Yeah, under the wall. But she was really my peacekeeper, I guess.
I mean, there's not much that's going on during your day, so you really, what would you talk about? The life itself?
Just the things we wanted to do, hopes, dreams, stuff I wanted to do that didn't get a chance to do. Wanted to see my son, because I have an older son that was older than my son that died, and I would just talk about stuff like that.
So some people say, well, if we get rid of the death penalty, we're going to get rid of a deterrent. For people doing crimes, or we're not going to be able to use that in the negotiations to a prosecution to get confessions and things of that nature. But that's all kind of screwed up, isn't it?
It is, because the death penalty is not a deterrent. It doesn't deter crime. People are still going out doing God knows what. I think that Get rid of the death penalty would be great.
So living in a cubicle, if instead of giving somebody the death penalty and spending millions of dollars, I don't know how much was spent on your case from the state, but if you were to be put in that cubicle for the rest of your life, only allowed 1 hour out, justice has to be served for those that do commit. For instance, the gentleman that went, I shouldn't call him a gentleman, but he went into a bar, a gay bar, and he just shot up everybody. Something's got to happen to that person.
That's right. You're correct.
General population is too good for him.
I beg to differ.
Yeah.
Yeah, because see, for me, if I hadn't been in protective custody, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. Because you're not safe in prison. People think that you are, but you're not. I've seen so many things happen in prison, and general population is worse because you get raped, you get beat up, you get stabbed. I mean, it's true. I mean, people think that prison is 3 hots in a cot. That means 3 meals and you got somewhere to lay your head. That's just not true. Sometimes I got trays with ants and bugs. I got rats in my cell. Prison ain't no place for nobody. And if you get that kind of sentence, a life sentence, you might as well kill yourself. It's really a death sentence, to be honest. Right. To be honest, you're not safe in prison. And I tell everybody that. I mean, I don't see how people can use it as a revolving door. I really don't. But I just don't feel that we have the right as human beings to take other people's life. Because I feel like if you kill me for something that I did, then aren't you any better than me? Because you're killing. Killing is wrong. It doesn't matter how you do it. And I just feel like prison takes care of itself, which it does.
Right.
Jeffrey Dahmer, for instance, look what happened to him. He didn't even last 2 months in prison.
So, obviously, being in the box, I mean, what stopped you from losing your mind?
It was hard. I mean, I think the conversations with her, I wrote a lot, and prayed a lot. I mean, because I imagine if I had to stay, I probably would have cracked up. I mean, it's hard.
What did you do with the, there's a verse in the Bible that says, if our heart condemns us, God's greater than our heart, and He knows all. If our hearts condemn us not, then we have confidence towards God. When you're sitting in a prison knowing that your child died and you were accused of it, there must have been some self-reflection saying, what have I done?
Do wrong?
What did I do wrong?
I did all that. I was angry for the first 3 years. I was mad at everything and everyone because I felt like I tried to save him, didn't know how to do the right thing or didn't know how to do CPR. I felt like I shouldn't have left the house. I was condemning myself. I didn't need no help from nobody else because I do that every day of my life. I figure I always try to overthink it and say, what could I have done better? But I look at it like my son was already sick. He was sick to the point that I didn't even know. I didn't even know he had all these diseases. And I say that to say today, I have a 14-year-old daughter with the same exact disease. And we're fighting for her life right now. So, I mean, it's not that this is something that happened and I will forget. It's constant for me.
Now, you're going around the country doing this? Because you're from Mississippi. Do you still live in Mississippi?
No, I've recently moved to Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, you're getting a little more north?
I had to go. Try to find something better for myself.
Yeah. So, you had a bad drought there not so long ago.
I did.
What is the reason that you're doing this? Why are you going? How many states have you gone to so far?
About 20, 30 states already. I do this because I want to bring attention. Because I think that the death penalty is lack of knowledge. That's what I really think it is. And I think that the more we educate and tell people about the death sentence, it's not imposed right. That I figure if I keep doing it, I'll affect the change. And the organization that I work with is called Witness to Innocence. And it's comprised of nothing but death row exonerees. These are people that, it's 150-something people that have already been exonerated. That's a lot of mistakes.
That's a lot of mistakes.
Not counting the ones that they didn't already killed, that they're not saying. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of mistakes.
How many people are in death row right now, do you know?
I don't know right off the top of my head.
But I think one of the things that disturbs me most about this whole thing, I mean, I've been pro-death penalty all my life, in part of the being conservative, justice and justice denied is, or delayed is, justice denied, and you come up from a faith that believes that there is a degree of justice that needs to be carried out. However, in that same faith, which is my Christian faith, the Lord is very angry with those that shed innocent blood. And if we allow innocent blood to be shed in our justice system, and if some innocent blood gets, that's not the cost of doing business. And these 6 things doth the Lord hate, lying tongue. Last one is he that sheds innocent blood. So if we trust these people that have ambitions and they just need a conviction. I'm going to make attorney general if I get this person on death row. I'm going to look like a hero because I got the bad guy, regardless of the truth. And it seems that that's happened at least 150 times in our. What are the safeguards from being under a rogue prosecutor?
That's crazy.
There's no safeguards.
There's no safeguards. And I feel like as long as we have a human element surrounding the death penalty, we're not going to get it right. I'm just sorry. I just don't feel like you can fix this or make it where I got the right person this time. I just don't. I feel like if you got a life sentence, you got a chance to go back and fix what you mess up. You can't fix a person that you killed. You can't go back and fix that. So that's why I feel like we should. That's why I don't believe in the death penalty.
So you must have spoken to a number of exonerees then. What is one of the most compelling stories that you've heard, other than your own?
Well, I mean, we just want change. We want justice. I mean, we want to see something done for the wrong that has been done. Mm-hmm. This is like PTS to us. I mean, we were tortured for no reason. I mean, being accused of something that you didn't do, and you sitting in something no bigger than your bathroom, and you're having to, look out and peer out in this window and say, hey, I didn't do this. You guys got me locked up. It's hard.
So there's a 17-year-old out there right now, and if they're being accused of something, what's your first piece of advice to them?
I wouldn't speak to the police. I would see if my parents or whatever can come in that room, or I would ask for an attorney right off the bat. I don't care what they say to me. I wouldn't. That's where I messed up at. I should have waited, and asked for my mom or something.
Ask for an attorney.
Yeah, ask for an attorney. And keep your mouth closed and let the attorney advise you as to what you need to do.
Well, what about after 4 hours worth of being interrogated? I actually watched a Discovery Channel where they wore somebody down 24 hours or something.
I know it.
And they didn't allow them to eat, no bathroom breaks, and they got a fault, because the boy was handicapped.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know, and then that's the hardest thing. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that because that falls on the police department, whoever you have interrogating, because a lot of them need retraining. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's a lot of emotionally charged type thing.
This isn't, in my humble opinion, the police are trying to do their job, and but there could be one bad apple.
It could be.
And the whole. We don't want to cast aspersions.
No, we don't. No, we don't, because there's good police officers. I know it is.
Yeah.
I know it is.
But it's the prosecutor that's put on the case that should be a professional and look at all the evidence and have a clear discernment. But you have somebody who's ambitious. I think that's where I really struggle with that. Mm-hmm. Your ambition doesn't, you're going to affect somebody's life or death. And we were joking a little bit before we got on camera, and I said, I have my faith in the justice system is somewhat skewed, right? And we both agree to that because they're flawed. They're flawed individuals handling precious life.
That's right.
That's
why I feel like we shouldn't have the death penalty, so we wouldn't have to worry about them making that type of mistake and killing people.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. How do people get in touch with Witness?
Witness to Innocence, you can go to witnesstoinnocence.org, and you can go on and it shows the exonerees that we have that are in the program with us. And then you can also go to DPIC, the Death Row Center, that shows all the exonerees and how many of us it is. And basically just, you can get in touch with us that way. We can come to your town, come to your schools, churches. We speak all over. Doesn't matter.
You do this for a living, or just is this volunteer for you?
No, I don't do it for a living. I just do it every now. I don't do it all the time.
I
got a job.
Yeah. What do you do for work? What do you do for a living?
I'm working at Target.
All right, good for you. All right, good.
Yeah, I'm working at Target.
Are you married?
No, I mean, well, I'm married, but subsequently get fingered.
Okay. Yeah, so it takes its toll, right?
It does.
Everything takes its toll.
It does, because, exonerees is hard for your spouse or something to kind of understand the exoneree.
Right.
It makes it kind of difficult.
And I think you brought something up about PTS. I mean, people that come back from war, or people that have been
Tortured.
Tortured, institutionalized, which in my opinion can be just as bad as being
just as
tortured
bad.
mentally. You have to deal with a lot of different emotions. You're very complicated at this point, right?
You don't get help for it once you get out. They don't
Have you gotten
offer you
help?
any. Can't afford it.
So
I try to do this as my way of healing myself.
I think that does help. When you help others, it helps you process the whole thing. Some people can internalize and poor me, but by helping others, I think
It helps me.
You can move forward and move on with your life. And how does your 14-year-old daughter, how does she deal with all this?
Well, she wants to come with me every time I go.
Well, it's a trip,
She's
right?
doing good. Yeah, she's doing good.
Thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it, and thank you for all your hard work on this.
Okay.
There's some legislation coming up soon in the House about expanding the death penalty, and I think I'm going to have a little trouble supporting that. But for more information, if you want to find out about it, please contact witness.org.
WitnessToInnocence.org.
So, thanks for watching the show. We appreciate it. And if you have a story, come on, let me know. See you next week.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.